A night where they were down by 17 in the fourth quarter. They were down by 5 to begin overtime. And then the Hawks scored 17 of the final 21 points in overtime. We've mentioned the historic numbers for Clint Capella: 27 points, 26 rebounds. He had 12 offensive rebounds. We're talking about rebounding totals that have not been reached in the NBA in 3 years. And the last Hawk to have those kinds of rebounding numbers, we're going back 20 years to Dikembe Mutombo. Trae Young, who was really, really struggling in this game, scored 32 of his final 38 points in the second half in overtime, and also ended with 10 assists. 31 points for John Collins. And the Hawks did this on a night where DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish were out. Hawks now 7-7, which moves them into a tie for 6th in the East, and Detroit falls to 3-11. That's last in the East. The postgame show coming up next. Hawks in overtime defeat the Pistons 123-115 on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to Atlanta Hawks basketball on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network. Today's game is brought to you by Emory Healthcare, the official healthcare provider of the Atlanta Hawks. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer. Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. Scana Energy, proud partner of the Atlanta Hawks. Share Care and the Hawks are making Atlanta a healthier place to live, work, and play to help us get all together better. State Farm, when you want the real deal like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The 5K from Kia, official vehicle of the Atlanta Hawks.
Thanks for listening to Atlanta Hawks basketball on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. You'll hear every shot, every block, and every big moment all season on the only Atlanta sports station that's live and local around the clock. The Hawks play here. We are Sports Radio 92.9
Atlanta Hawks
The
basketball
Game.
is a copywritten broadcast to the National Basketball Association and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA. This is the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network, live from our flagship station in Atlanta.
He goes in, he jams, and the Hawks take the lead.
Catch every game all season as our Hawks battle for an NBA championship right here on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network.
The Hawks are going to soar this season, but your natural gas rates don't have to. Scana Energy is proud to be the official natural gas partner of the Atlanta Hawks. It's our team, our city, our time to show our pride, Atlanta. So let's get loud and proud as we cheer them on together. Soar with the Hawks and Scana Energy this season by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
To celebrate State Farm's surprisingly great race, we gave this game day jam surprisingly great lyrics.
I want a race that's great. Who is this to free him tonight? Hey, it's Jake. I want a way to save. Got the coverage on my brand new ride. State Farm race. Yeah, they're great. State Farm, State Farm race.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Do you know a Georgia resident who's made a difference? Someone dedicated to volunteerism, social good, and improving their community. This year, the Atlanta Hawks and Share Care are proud to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy of civic engagement with our inaugural True to the Dream Honors Program. If you know someone deserving of this recognition, visit hawks.com/nominate to submit your candidate for the True to the Dream Honors presented by Share Care and help us recognize the incredible individuals who work tirelessly to positively impact our community.
Need a slam dunk for finding a new set of tires to revive your ride? Then hoop it up with Kumho Tire. Just like the Atlanta Hawks, the team at Kumho Tire is always working hard and designing new ways to take our game and you as a driver to the next level. Whether you're home or away, Kumho Tire will help you score big when it comes to a quality selection of tires with unparalleled performance and improved steering for precise handling and a safe, comfortable ride. Visit your local dealer and ask for Kumho. Kumho Tire. Better always.
Welcome to the Atlanta Hawks postgame show.
Roll it back.
Keep it here for game highlights,
Three-pointer. Bang!
the player of the game, the locker room report, and news and updates from around the league.
And that's the game.
postgame show on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network. Here's Mike Conti.
Got a lot to process here. Hawks in overtime defeat Detroit 123-115. If you're just joining us, the Hawks were down by 17 in the fourth quarter. They stormed all the way back to force overtime. A game-saving block at the buzzer by John Collins did that. Then Detroit scores the first 5 points in overtime. Hawks closed the extra frame on a 17-4 run. Trae Young took the game over in the second half in overtime. He had 32 of his 38 points in the second half in overtime. But the statistical story on Clint Capella, I mean, we're talking about a historical night, one that we have very rarely seen in Hawks history, and one that has not happened in the entirety of the NBA in the last 3 or 4 years. He is our player of the game, by the way. Clint had 27 points, 26 rebounds, 12 offensive rebounds. Only the 22nd player in NBA history with that line. Only the 4th Hawk with that line. We're talking about numbers that haven't been seen in the league in a couple years. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go downstairs. Lloyd Pierce is meeting with the media
right now. After playing 43 for John and 39 for Clint, and they're in there still getting better. And I think that was kind of a summary of tonight's game. I thought we got better as the game went on. I think our guys are getting better. Monster game for Clint Capella. I don't know if there's any way of not highlighting a player after a performance like that. And it's just good to see. That was what we call a we win. We had a lot of guys contribute in a lot of different ways, but really a gutsy win for our guys tonight and the confidence builder.
If you need. First question for tonight will come from Kelly Crow.
Yeah, Coach, there's a lot of great things to unpack in this one, I think. And you mentioned Clint Capella. Where does a performance like this rank in your eyes for him, and just where he can go from here even? It feels like every night we're talking about him right now.
Yeah, I think, the goal for him when we traded for him was to have an anchor of our defense, a guy that can secure defensive rebounds and allow us to get out and run. Another pick and roll player for Trae. His ability to finish at the basket behind the defense. And he's doing all of that plus some. Him having 5 blocks. I thought he could have had 10 tonight, honestly. I think he was hugged up on his guy down the floor, and I think he could have been in position to get some more. It's an area we can continue to grow him. But he's all over the place, offensive rebounding, 10 offensive rebounds at the half. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a game. I definitely haven't coached that in a game. And I thought he's just been tremendous. Every game he seems to be getting better. His confidence is building. He's getting to the free throw line at a high rate. Now he's starting to knock them down as well. But you can see his confidence skyrocketing, and it's good for us. It's good for the guys. It's a big confidence builder. It'll allow us to pressure and do some things creatively up the floor defensively, knowing that we have a guy like that down the floor protecting the rim.
And it felt like, he obviously kept you guys in this one, but then in the second half, Trae, 6 points in the first, and he finishes with 38. What was the biggest difference for him?
Well, that's his role. He's got a dual responsibility of getting everyone involved, picking apart the defense. And then he's our closer. We've talked about it. There's no secret about it. He's the guy that we have to put the ball in his hands down the stretch. He's the guy we have to put the ball in his hands when we're in the bonus. He's got an ability to get to the free throw line. He's got a unique ability to get by his defender, and he's got unbelievable vision to where he can make any pass. And, great drop off to Clint to send it into overtime, which was key. But we don't come back in this game if Trae Young doesn't turn into Trae Young down the stretch.
And one more guy, if you don't mind pointing him out. You mentioned Capella throwing it down there to tie things up without JC's block. I mean, he was also, I feel like, a star that may get overlooked in a night like this. But what can you say about the combination of he and Clint tonight?
It was a hell of a block. And what went unseen was the charge that Trae took beneath the play as well. It didn't get called, but Trae did a great job of stepping in and taking that charge, and John did a great job of staying with the play and getting the block. But we couldn't buy a basket. There was a stretch. I think we were down 15 in the fourth, and about 8:32 when that timeout was called. We couldn't buy a basket. We were getting some clean looks, some clean shots. But I think the thing that turned it for us was we were starting to get stops and put some stops together, and eventually the shots were going to fall, and that's exactly what happened. And so John's block at the end of the regulation it's kind of the summary of that fourth quarter. We got back in the game because we were getting stops, and we went into overtime because he made a key block at the end of it.
Okay, Lloyd Pierce with the performance plan of the game brought to you by the K5 from Kia, official vehicle, the Atlanta Hawks. So here are the totals. Hawks shot 44%, 9 of 24 from three. Detroit 45%, 10 of 31 on their threes. The difference came in the foul shooting. The Hawks got to the foul line 38 times tonight. Detroit only 19. So, again, as you heard, Trae Young, 38 points, 32 in the second half in overtime. He also had 10 assists and had 19 free throw attempts. You'd say, wow, that's a pretty crazy line. It's actually the third time Trae's done that in his career. John Collins, 31 points, 11 rebounds, and that game-saving block at the end of regulation. This Clint Capella line, again, I just want to go through it again because this is truly mind-boggling. 27 points, 26 rebounds, 12 offensive rebounds. That exact line, 27 points, 26, 12 offensive rebounds. He's only the fifth player in NBA history to do that. The other four, Kevin Love, Charles Oakley, Moses Malone, and Swen Nader, who incidentally did that against the Hawks in 1976. 17 points for Kevin Huerter, and then that was pretty much it. 6 for Solomon Hill, although he had a very important three-pointer in the fourth quarter. 2 for Onyeka Okongwu and 2 for Rajon Rondo. The Pistons got 32 from Jeremy Grant, 17 from Blake Griffin, 16 for Wayne Ellington, Derrick Rose with 14, Mason Plumlee with 10 before he fouled out, 7 for DeLone Wright before he fouled out, and 7 for Josh Jackson. Svi Mykhailiuk had 6 points, 4 for Isaiah Stewart, and 2 for Jahlil Okafor. The rebounds, 63-42 in favor of the Hawks. Detroit had 22 assists, and the Hawks had 21. Attorney Ken Nugent is partnering with the Atlanta Hawks Foundation to give young basketball players free entry into the Junior Hawks camp programs in the Hawks Academy. All season long, Attorney Ken Nugent donates $3 for every Hawks point scored, up to $25,000, all part of Score for Scholarships by Attorney Ken Nugent. Plenty more to come as the Hawks in overtime beat the Pistons tonight, 123-115 on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network.
It's NBA season, a time when some of the best stories get written. A long shot turned buzzer beater, the rebound into a three-pointer, the sky hook from the back court, the jump shot that finally connects. Anything can happen. Life is like that, filled with limitless plot twists. That's why we built the all-new 2021 Kia Sorento. The world's first storytelling machine with available 2.5-liter turbo engine, 281 horsepower, and all-wheel drive. Because when you have the right tools, when you mix willpower with horsepower, you can get to where all the best stories lie in wait, where the pavement ends and possibility begins. Your story is out there, and we want to help you find it. Kia is proud to be the official vehicle of the Atlanta Hawks. Give it everything.
Do you know a Georgia resident who's made a difference? Someone dedicated to volunteerism, social good, and improving their community. This year, the Atlanta Hawks and Share Care are proud to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy of civic engagement with our inaugural True to the Dream Honors Program. If you know someone deserving of this recognition, visit hawks.com/nominate to submit your candidate for the True to the Dream Honors presented by Share Care and help us recognize the incredible individuals who work tirelessly to positively impact our community.
Hey, Hawks fans, it's Steve Holman on behalf of Emory Healthcare, the official healthcare provider of the Hawks. You want to feel safe getting the right care, and at Emory Healthcare, they've always made safety a priority. That's why Emory has been taking extraordinary measures to protect your Atlanta Hawks, the fans, and the rest of the community. So no matter what your health need, from simple to surgical, Emory is here and ready. To make an appointment, visit emoryhealthcare.org/truefeelsafe.
That's the game. Taking a look back at today's game with our post-game show on the Hawks Radio Network.
17-point fourth quarter comeback for the Hawks, and they get the Pistons in overtime tonight, 123-115. A remarkable game. The Hawks are proud to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King with this season's Nike City Edition uniforms in court. Proceeds from the sale of this jersey go to support economic empowerment programs for Atlanta's communities of color. Shop the jerseys you saw on the court tonight, plus the Nike City Edition and Unity collections at hawksshop.com. Defensive game brought to you by Ford. That's got to go to Clint Capella, right? 5 blocks, 26 rebounds, 14 defensive, was a plus 17 team best tonight. I'm tempted to give Collins honorable mention on that because he had the game-saving block at the end of regulation. But Clint Capella, the defensive player of the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer, Built Ford Tough. The injury report brought to you by Emory Healthcare. What made this so remarkable for the Hawks tonight is that Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter were both late scratches in this game. Hawks are hopeful that both of them will be able to play Friday in Minnesota, but they were late scratches tonight. That's why the Hawks were so short-handed. Danilo Gallinari out as well, along with Chris Dunn. And Trae Young was able to play despite some heel soreness, and thank God he did, because he had 32 points in the second half in overtime. The injury report brought to you by Emory Healthcare, official healthcare provider of the Atlanta Hawks. We'll look at scores from around the league right after this. As the Hawks win it in overtime tonight over Detroit, 123-115 on the Atlanta Hawks Radio Network.
Don't be a Monday morning quarterback after your accident and wonder what you should have done after a negligent driver hits you. Call John Foy and Associates. There's over 40 teams of attorneys that will fight for you because they specialize in nothing but personal injury law. Call 404-400-4000. That's 404-400-4000. Online at johnfoy.com. We will be with you all the way. We are on your team.
For us, it's more than basketball. It's a commitment to equality, unity, and social justice for all. We work for those who dare to dream a better future and those still striving for a more equitable tomorrow. A night of basketball and community as we unite Atlanta and committed to make a positive change. Presented by Emory Healthcare, 7:30 p.m., January 26th on Fox Sports Southeast and 92.9 The Game.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent.
And I'm Hall of Famer Dominique Wilkins.
I'm proud to be teaming up with the Atlanta Hawks Foundation to provide scholarship for kids to attend basketball camp.
The mission of the Atlanta Hawks Foundation is to help Atlanta's youth learn